Let's learn about traditional color mixing. At the top of our paper, you should write your name. I'll write my name. The reason we're going to be making our own color wheel today is that a color wheel is a tool to help us understand the relationships between colors. And there can be different color wheels for different purposes. Our color wheel will be a little bit simpler than some of the ones on this paper. Our first step is to find a crayon that matches the word for each part of our color wheel. So the color crayons that I need are red, and where it says red, I'm going to either underline or really gently color over the word red, so I remember that red is going to go in this part of my color wheel. We'll do that for all of our colors. Be careful to look at the words carefully, and you can even practice sounding them out with the letters so you can figure out which word should be colored which color. When we have all of our color words colored, then we'll be ready for the next step. To set up for the next step, I will need a placemat, and that can go under my artwork so that it has borders around all of the edges, and it'll sit flat on the table. I've got all of my supplies set up and I'm ready to paint. Since we're painting on thin paper, we'll want to be careful not to use too much water or too much paint. We'll be gentle and slow and careful. What I will do is I'll take a drop of water on my paintbrush and I'll mix it in the color that I want to use. I'm going to start with yellow because yellow is the lightest color in value. When I'm getting my brush wet, I want to make sure I'm using water to activate the pigment. And if you paint on the edge of the paint, that's usually best. If we go into the hole, it's easy to accidentally smash our brush. But if we paint on the tallest edge, we can get our color. And then I'm going to put it in the right spot on my picture. I'll try to paint as neatly and carefully as I can. I like to hold a brush carefully, maybe even like a pencil. And then I can draw my lines out where I want them to be. So if I need more paint, I can go back to the paint and get more paint. It doesn't have to be perfect, but we do want to try to do our best. And I also need water as I'm painting. And anytime I were to get a different color, I would have to wash my brush in the water first. But since I was getting the same color, I just dipped it gently in the water. Alright, I've painted my first section. Now let's look, where else would yellow go on our picture? Am I done with the yellow? No, I still need yellow in this spot and this spot, so I'll paint where it says I need yellow as well. Here's a hint, kindergarten. In the spots where there are two colors, you should paint the color on top first. So in this spot that needs yellow and red, we should paint yellow first and then red. In this spot that needs red and blue, we should paint red first and then blue. And in this spot that needs yellow and blue, we should paint yellow first, which is why I did that. Alright, are there any other spots that I need the yellow? I don't think so, so I can wash off my brush really well. It looks like I need red next, so I'm going to look at the paint. Remember, I want to paint on the edges of the paint where the paint is the tallest. That way I'm not smashing my brush, because I only need paint on the tip of my brush, so I can paint gently and carefully. And then I can try to do my best painting by going slowly and carefully and taking my time. I've painted this section red, but am I done with red? No, I still need red here and red here. Now, when I'm painting over top of the yellow, red is a darker color than yellow, so I might want to start with a brush that I've dipped once in the water and wiped once on the edge. See how there's still red in my brush? Because I didn't wash it off in the water, I just dipped it in the water. That made the red color lighter, and you can see if I test it on this paper, it's like a light pink. If I mix it in this color, that light wash of red will start to change this yellow into what color? It'll mix to make orange. If I want my orange to be a little tiny bit darker, I could very, very gently just barely touch the red with a wet brush and then mix in just a little bit more paint. Because red is a darker value than yellow, so it's stronger when we mix them, so I don't need quite as much. I've finished with the red and now I'm ready for my last color, which is blue. So before I switch, I wash my brush really well whenever I go to a different color. Really good wash, really good wipe. Then I can go to my blue. I like to paint along the edges. This one doesn't even have the bottom, but that's okay. There's still lots of paint here. If I gently touch the edge, then I can paint the blue spots that I need to. Blue is the darkest value, so I don't need as much blue paint on my brush when I mix it over top of the other mixing spots. It will still really easily make what color when it mixes with yellow? Yeah, it'll mix green when blue and yellow mix together. And my last mixing spot, if I use a little bit of blue and not too much, will look sort of like what color? Sort of like a purple color. And I'll finish this spot and then I'll follow directions for cleanup. I'm excited for you to practice color mixing today.